What's up? I hope all is well. Just a second, pulling up Instagram's live. We should be good here. Hopefully we're good. I hope all is well, guys. Thank you for joining today, especially after my break from last week, because listen, finals was something, okay? So I hope you all had a great break last week too, and I'm glad we're able to kind of jump back in and talk about some topics, some new topics. I'll give everybody some time to come in, and I am pulling up my notes here as soon as I get my life together. Here we go. Okay. I think we should be good now. But yeah, let me know where you're watching from. Definitely drop it in the comments. And how you're feeling today. I hope all is well, honestly. If this is your first time, my name is Debbie. I am a certified mindfulness coach. This channel is all things mindfulness, mental health, breath work, meditation is primarily what I post. But every week we do go live and talk about topics from the poll. I usually post a poll every Saturday. I was a little late this week, but hey, I'm recovering, I'm recouping, okay? So I usually post a poll every Saturday for us to kind of pick something to talk about. So this week we went through, actually, it was a mixed feedback from Instagram and from YouTube. So everyone that voted on YouTube voted for the calming stress ideas topic, and then everybody from the Instagram actually voted for the how do I know if I'm growing or if I'm healing. So we'll do both. I'll do calming ideas this week, and then next week we'll do the how do I know if I'm growing. So I hope this is helpful. Hello, welcome in. So I hope this is helpful today. And I hope that this meets the expectations of what you guys are looking for and what you guys are wanting to know more about when it comes to calming stress ideas. The ones that I went through, of course, I'm going to like revisit like some that you probably hear often, but then there's probably going to be a few in here that that you didn't hear about or don't know too much about. So I'll go through those. Thank you for helping us all. Yeah, of course, absolutely. Talking about the nervous system is something that we will talk about tonight because there is some additional things that you can do. So I will go through just some common quick responses to stress that we probably all know, just to revisit. And then I'm gonna dive into some other ones that you may not think about, not your first go-to, some ideas you maybe never thought about at all. And you're like, oh, okay, I didn't even realize. So we'll go through all of those tonight, and then we'll follow up with affirmations that you can take away tonight as well. I think I have, how many affirmations do I have? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I have 8 affirmations that you can take away. And I don't know why I don't have my glasses on because I can't see. Let's take care of that. All right, that's important. Why am I'm not. Actually, there's 14 people in here, so I think I'm talking to a lot of people, okay? But hope your day or your evening gets better with your responses, you know? All right, let's dive in. So when it comes to the overall, just thinking about calming stress ideas, right? So when thinking about calming stress, you want to, one, be proactive and reactive. I think the biggest thing that we run into when trying to calm stress is that we're just reacting to the things that are happening versus us being proactive with our stress responses. So the way that we can mitigate that is to one, both be proactive and reactive. Having proactive approaches to our stress and our reactive approaches to our stress that we can go to in those very stressful moments is what's key and important. So when we're going through all of these different techniques that we're going to talk about tonight, also think about like what you can do proactively and then what you can be those quick reactive responses that you can have in the moment. Keeping that in mind is super important when trying to find ways to relieve stress. The other aspect of that is a lot of times when it comes to relieving stress, we only go to one or two options or one or two things. And then that gets redundant, that gets to a point where it's not working anymore. So having multiple ways of relieving stress and having those be your go-tos is also important, in addition to thinking of proactive and reactive stress ideas. So that's just something I want to just say up front. And then also too, there's two ways that you can really think about it. You can think about relieving stress in like physically, emotionally, spiritually, and mentally. Or you can also think of it in a way of it using your five senses. So I'm going to kind of bounce between the two because relieving stress is going to be subjective, right? It's going to be based off of your own personal needs, desires, and limitations and boundaries. So I'm going to give you all a whole bunch of different ideas, and then you can take from it what you want, pick and choose what works for you, and then go from there. So again, we're both on Instagram and YouTube. So feel free to jump in and out if you need to. But I hope that this is helpful as we talk through all of these here. And if you have any questions, if you have any comments, if you want me to go back over something, if you need me to revisit something, just let me know. Just drop it in the comments, y'all. Okay, so I already talked about being proactive and reactive, and I already talked about being physically, thinking about it physically, emotionally, spiritually, and mentally, right? The most common quick responses that we're probably going to like run into often is breath work and meditation, which is what this channel is all about, breath work and meditation. Music, just being on top of what we're listening to and even engaging in music during certain times to help relieve stress. If you are a spiritual person, any type of prayer, anything that you associate with your spirituality, stretching and releasing built up tension, journaling, gratitude journals, and just scaling back on activities, as well as like making sure that we get our rest. And detoxes, whether it be like physical or emotional or mental detoxes, or some of the common things that you probably would think about. So just a few tips in the common areas. Breathwork and meditation. Of course, this is a breathwork and meditation channel, so I have over 100 meditations and breathwork affirmation options on this particular channel. So feel free to check that out. But even in the moment, you can think about this as a proactive and a reactive response. So whether it be you're doing meditation on a daily basis and it's something that you do in the morning, it's a part of your daily routine, or it's something that you do in very stressful moments. So thinking about like, and really breath work when it comes to really, really stressful moments is very, very helpful, because what breath work does is it regulates the nervous system. And your nervous system is what calms your body down, right? So if you're able to regulate your nervous system with your breath work, that's something that you can do instantaneous. That's going to be an instant response mechanism that you can use, versus meditation may be something that you just want to use as a proactive measure. So just thinking through like how you want to do that. I go through a lot of breath work techniques on the channel, but the most common one to do in stressful situations is the 3-3-3 scale. So breathing in for 3, holding your breath for 3, and then releasing your breath for 3, and then starting it over again. Doing that maybe, I would say, 4 to 6 times back to back usually can help with regulating your nervous system. You may need it a little bit more, a little bit less, just based off of your body. But that's typically the one that I use when I'm in a stressful moment. Also, just keeping in mind visualization, grounding techniques, all of those things are perfect when it comes to relieving stress. Music, I think that's self-explanatory, but I also think that it's also not just what you listen to in the moments, but what you listen to consistently. So just being mindful of the music that you're listening to, because some music can create stressors in the body. It can definitely, even just like some of the frequencies of music, things of that matter. So just not just thinking about what you're listening to in that moment, but also what you listen to on a daily basis. I also have a playlist that I have that I go to whenever I feel stressed. Whenever I feel stressed or if I have very strong emotions, I have a playlist that I can just click on and just play whenever I find myself in that moment. So like thinking of maybe creating a playlist that is your go-to. So like anytime I feel stressed, anytime I'm mad, anytime that I'm angry, anytime that I have any strong emotions, this is the playlist that I play. That's how you can switch music from being a proactive situation to a reactive, right? We talked about that at the top of the call, like making sure that we have reactive options and proactive options. This is a way that you can make music reactive, right? We talked about prayer, but however that looks for you, prayer walks is also like a great way if that's something that you think about. Also, like when it comes to like meditation and incorporating prayer into that, you can do that. Even when it comes to working out, like praying while working out, while you're relieving stress, while your body is releasing, can be helpful. Or with the next option of stretching, you can also do that too. Hi, Teresa. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. How are you? I hope all is well. So just thinking about ways that you can incorporate these pieces into each other is another way to help you be proactive as well as reactive. Um, Journaling, I know we all know that journaling and gratitude journals and all of those things can help, but also like mentally strategizing is important. Like journaling doesn't necessarily have to be like, oh, I just want to write down all of my feelings, but it also can be, I need to strategize, right? I need to sit and if I'm stressed right now and there's some things that I'm trying to figure out, this is a good time for me to organize my thoughts, to strategize on what I want to do. And what the next steps will be, because actually physically writing it down and putting it in some type of organization, putting it in a chart, doing T charts is something that I like to do, a pros and cons list. Like those are all like ways that you can use journaling outside of just writing down your feelings, because that's a big part of stress, right? A big part of stress is like, I have so many things going on. I don't know how to conceptualize or what to do in regards to the stressors in my life. But journaling your feelings about it, in addition to strategizing about those issues, is a part of journaling also. So think about that. How can I use journaling to help me strategize versus just writing down my emotions? Because yeah, you need to get it out, of course. Like definitely journal your emotions, but mentally strategizing within the journal is so crucial and helps. And that's a way to be proactive, right? So we talked about being proactive and reactive. I think when we journal our emotions, that's more reactive. But when we mentally strategize, that's more proactive. Like we're putting things in perspective for what to do next. So keep that in mind. Also, one thing that I've enjoyed about journaling, because I don't like writing, not because I don't like to write, I just don't like my my I don't like my handwriting. So it's like sometimes I'll write things out and I'm like, I don't know what I wrote. And so I started actually typing out my journals. Total big difference as you get if you are a typer versus a writer, try doing like a digital, like even if it's just in Google Docs or whatever, just try doing like digital entries versus you writing entries. Some people just don't like to write, or it just seems like it's more work to write than it is to type. So just thinking about that is important. And another great tip to use when it comes to journaling. So keep that in mind. I already talked about scaling back on activities. Digital detoxes are definitely helpful when it comes to stress relief. I think I did like a week of no social media, and it really did help me like just recenter. So even if it's just something like that, if you don't think you can do a week, that's fine. If you feel like you just need to do a day or 3 days of just kind of just detoxing from all gadgets, that will give yourself some time to regroup, because even just being on digital devices every day, all day, can create stress in the body. So keeping that in mind. um, Perfect. So I went through, those are the common quick responses that we think about when it comes to and if there's any others, please put them in the comments. But when it comes to, oh, sorry, y'all, I'm missing some comments. Oh, hi, Vale. Welcome in. Cicero Mode, what's a few artists on your playlist? So I have multiple playlists, right? So I have a gospel or a worship playlist. And then I have just like a chill like playlist. So like on my chill playlist is a lot of neo soul. So it's like Jill Scott, Erykah Badu. It's a lot of like India Irie. What else? Angie Stone, rest in peace. Oh my gosh, rest in peace, Angie Stone. So like it's a lot of like neo soul for me. And then for my worship playlist, it's a lot of Ty Tribbett. It's a lot of Jonathan McReynolds. It's a lot of, who else? Marvin Sapp. There's a lot of different playlists, but yeah, just really what you want to do, and the way that I can tell you how I actually made my playlist. So when it comes to my playlist, that it has to be songs that in the first 5 seconds of the song coming on, it has to put me in a joyous or peaceful mood. So if it's not something that I listen to and that gives me joy and gives me happiness, and it gives me, and then also lyrically, you have to listen to the lyrics to really like understand and say like, hey, like these lyrics are going to speak to me in moments that I'm angry, or these moments are going to speak to me in moments that I'm sad, or these lyrics are going to speak to me in moments that I'm stressed. So like being very intentional about it is important, and make as many as you want, right? I have so many different playlists, it's crazy, right? I have so many different workout playlists. I have so many different, playlists when it comes to just like different moods and things. So you can do it however you want to do it, but keeping in mind songs that are going to speak to the soul, and songs that give you joy or give you, happiness. Fred Hammond is also a lot, and Smokey Norfolk is a lot on my worship playlist. But also too, like Sade is like on my, my chill playlist. So yeah, just so thinking about all of that, and even being more open to other genres, and like exploring music. I think that was another thing that helped me too, is just taking some time to explore the music that I'm playing, and thinking outside of the box. But yeah, I hope that answers your question and wasn't too long-winded, but I hope that helps. All right, so we talked about the most common quick responses. So just thinking about some few options that are a little bit outside of the box, right? And then also keeping in mind your senses, because when it comes to recovery or stress recovery, you want to think about things that are restorative, but you want to think about things that are restorative to you. So what's restorative to you may not be restorative to me. Like I've said this before, I don't really like getting my nails done. That's not self-care to me. Like it's really stressful. I gotta pick a color, then they just pulling on my fingers, and then I gotta move my hand over here, then I move my hand over here, then I gotta put my hand out here, and then I gotta put it under this hot fan. Like it's not, no. Like that actually isn't self-care. So thinking about ways to relieve stress that actually work for you, not just because somebody else said to do it, because it's self-care, right? So just think about that too. But One of the things that it's very reactive that I like to do in the moment, especially while I'm working, and this is for sight, right? So for sight, visual stress relief, watching nature scenes, videos of waterfalls, forests, or ocean waves. That's why one of the reasons with my videos, why I have those videos, those pictures there or depictions there, because it can be relaxing. One of the other things too, I like the view of like a diffuser, like when all of like the smoke is coming out of the diffuser. So that's calming for me, and it's something that's simple. Putting pictures up, things that you that will give you some type of calm. So finding ways to visually make things appealing for you to help you calm down. Um, uh, Yeah, yeah, resetting once you're home, that's one thing that I had to really be intentional about because I went through a season of life where home wasn't comfortable. At home, that stress life. And when I made my life change for divorce, I don't know if I talked about this before, but I went through a divorce, I want to say 8 years, yeah, I don't even remember, 8 years ago. Um, and when I went to create a new space for myself, what I really wanted to make sure of is that my home was my sanctuary, that I love coming home, that it had things in it that made me excited to be home. Now you can't make me leave my house. Like, I be in the house all the time. I love being home. So like those some of those things for me is that I love to decorate. I love to create and do DIY stuff. So I did a bunch of DIY items and things and put it in my house, things that are pretty that I look at. I like water fountains, so I do have water fountains, like the little small water fountains. You might be able to see one here. Yeah, this one here. So I like very like water fountain sounds. So I'll put my water fountain on. I have diffusers everywhere. I love plants. I'm just looking around to see what else I got. I have plants. I'm a what else? A blanket person. I got a lot of blankets. I'm a weighted blanket person, a lot of weighted blankets, heated blankets. Like I'm just that person. Robes. I love to sit in like very pretty, nice, comfy robes. Slippers, like whatever, just finding those things that make you comfortable and having them readily available when you get home is so, so important. So, hi, CJ, welcome in. But yeah, so making your home a sanctuary is so important when it comes to creating a space that's stress free. Now, granted, yes, I have children, and yes, it can get chaotic a little bit, but even in that, finding ways to give yourself some space, finding ways. Now my kids are a little bit older, so I can tell them like, hey, mommy needs some space, give me some time. But I know that's a little bit more difficult with younger kids. But the best thing about younger kids, guess what? They get older. Okay. And eventually, just know it's temporary, right? But when they were younger, the bathroom was my space. I'm just gonna say that. So yeah, so making your space a sanctuary is so important. Also, like decluttering and organizing your space is also important because you a lot of times we find ourselves in stressful states because our space is cluttered, because our space is unorganized, and because our space looks stressful, we're stressful, right? So sometimes just taking the time to clean and to reorganize, maybe move your room around. That's something that I like to do too. Like if it's getting too redundant or I just need something new, like I'll move my room around in my space, and it gives me time to be creative and to think of different ways to set up my space. So organizing your space is important. Where we at? What time, y'all? Okay, we got 28 minutes. Okay, cool. So that's for sight. All right. Now for sound, one of the things that I love to do all of the time is having some form of white noise, nature sounds. They also have like the lo-fi like playlists. Like that's what this is that I play all the time. It's a lo-fi playlist, just something to play in the background that can help relieve stress. Um, I also like to really use music. Of course, you always have your playlist as well as sounds. humming and singing, like if you like to sing, humming and singing actually activates the nervous system. So if you don't know, when you sing or when you hum, it activates your vagus nerve, and your vagus nerve is connected to your nervous system, and that's what regulates your nervous system. So the same way that breath work brings and calms your nervous system, so does singing and humming. So if singing is something that you like to do, starting your day, I actually start my day singing. Honestly, like I'll start my day, I'll put on whatever songs that I want to put on, and I'll sing. And that actually calms. I'll sing in a shower, I'll sing whatever. Like that actually is very calming to the body. Not just because it's activating the vagus nerve, but the fact that the vibrations of you singing activates your body. So that's, how when people sing, you get the chills or whatever. It activates your body in a way to where you're able to relieve stress from the body. So that's all great and wonderful things that you can do when it comes to sound. Trying to think. Oh, when working too, when it comes to white noise, some of the other noises I like is that there's like YouTube videos that you can put on, and it's of people working. So like it's of people typing and things of that matter. I like to also put that in because if I hear typing, then it makes me want to work. I don't know, maybe it's me tricking myself, but thinking of ways that you can have some type of sound or auditory stimulation can help with calming stress or the nervous system in general. So smell is the next one. So fresh air, aromatherapy, all of that is very, very helpful in calming, right? So like I said, I have diffusers throughout my house. I have candles throughout my house. Bath and Body Works, they hate to see me coming. Well, maybe they like to see me coming because I'm gonna spend some money. So aromatherapy is huge. Some of the scents that you may want to try when it comes to calming is eucalyptus and lavender. Those are two that I use often. Some of the ones that you can use to energize you is like peppermint or just like citrus smells. So orange smells, lemongrass, lemon in general, like anything that's citrusy will wake you up. Grapefruit is a good one. All of those scents can help, and something that you can be proactive about, something that maybe you'll put in on the morning as you're getting ready, or even I have a car diffuser. So there you can get them on Amazon. But there's one that I like to, when I was driving into the city, I'm in the Chicago area, but live in the suburbs, and sometimes it's an hour and a half to 2 hour drive into the city in the mornings. So I would I have my car diffuser, I have my favorite smells in there, and then I would start my drive, I'll put my car diffuser on, and it would go, okay, and I'd be like, oh, now I feel good, I got my music playing, I got, it will put you in a better mood. You're welcome, Nakia, thank you for joining. So having aromatherapy, they have aromatherapy for showers, they have all of the stuff, so that can be helpful. And then another thing is like cooking. If you like to cook, if it's something that you enjoy doing, but even if you were to do like a boil, like with cinnamon and vanilla, and different herbs are very, very soothing. So keeping that in mind too. All right, so touch. We got a lot here. Touch and physical, or physical touch in general, right? Or just the physicality of stress. I don't see now. I'm not that far. I'm not in the boondocks, but I am kind of far though. Well, if without traffic, I can get to Chicago in about 35 minutes. But in the mornings, during our traffic is crazy. It can go from being 45 minutes to almost 2 hours, especially coming home. Coming home, 2 hours. If you're leaving at 3, 2 hours, okay? So definitely could be stressful coming home. So touch or physicality, right? So when it comes to the physical, there's so many things that you can do to relieve stress. So we have our proactive stuff, right? So proactively is setting a morning and evening routine. You don't even necessarily have to do both. You can do a morning or an evening routine, whatever works best for you. I typically prefer a morning routine, even though it's more difficult for me, right? But because I'm just not a morning person. Like I am one of those people. Well, I'm glad that my full-time job, I don't have to necessarily be there at a certain time. It's between a window, so I have to be at work between 8 and 10, and I work from home. So that makes it like a little bit easier. But having a morning or and evening routine, or just one versus the over the other, is important, because when your body knows that there's a routine coming, there's less stress that it will feel in the morning. So if you feel like you're most stressed in the morning, having a morning routine will be helpful. When you find yourself the most stressed when it's time to go to bed, then having an evening routine would be helpful. If you find yourself stressed in both times, then maybe you would want to think about having two different routines. And a routine don't have to be long. It could be a 5 minute, 10-minute routine, or it could just be that you do a series of things versus it being a time limit, if that makes sense. So in the morning, you may want to wake up and stretch. Some people like to stretch in the bed, right? Just to kind of wake yourself up. Some people like to wake up and do breath work as soon as they wake up. Some people like to wake up and do their prayer as soon as they wake up. Some people like to get up and they make their bed, or they'll do a certain, beauty routine or whatever. So whatever that looks like for you, whatever brings the most stress relief, especially if you wake up worried, anxious, and stressed. Like I cannot stress enough, if you wake up that way every morning, having a morning routine is going to be crucial for you. So thinking about morning and evening routines, how advanced or not advanced it will be, whatever works the best for you, but keeping that in mind when thinking about how you wake up and how you go to sleep. The next one is actually more so with the doctor. Blood work, y'all. Like, get your blood work done. Get your hormones checked, right? Check your vitamin D levels, your B12 levels, your magnesium levels, your thyroid levels, your iron levels, your blood count. Like all of that is associated with your cortisol levels, right? So if your vitamin D is low, which most melanated people are, especially if you're living in a place that doesn't have a lot of sun, like I do, like keeping in mind your vitamin D levels, because if your vitamin D levels are low, your body is going to stress because it doesn't have the nutrients that it needs to operate on a daily basis. So if you are, for me, my vitamin D level was very, very low. Like I said, I live in the Chicago area. Most of the year ain't a lot of sun. You know what I mean? So I have to take a supplement every day. And once I started taking the supplement, because your depression levels can go up and down, your mood levels can go up and down when your vitamin D level is low. Same with B12. Magnesium can help with clarity and mental clarity and focus. Your thyroid levels can mess with a whole lot of stuff. So get your blood work done if you haven't in a long time or in a while, and have them just do a full blood work checkup just to see like how your levels are looking. Because if you're always stressed, it may be internal versus it being external, or the internal aspect may be adding to the stress level. So a lot of people don't think about blood work when it comes to stress, but it's crucial and important, especially when it came for me. My vitamin D levels were low, and my iron levels were okay, even though in the past I have been anemic, but thyroid levels was kind of wacky too. So I hope that that's helpful, and keep that in mind. Thank you, Teresa. I hope you have as much information as possible. I hope this is helpful. So yes, blood work is important. The other aspect of the body, your lymphatic system, is so important when it comes to cortisol levels. So lymphatic drainage and exfoliation, and this is for men too. Just because you're a man don't mean you can't exfoliate, okay? You can exfoliate. Exfoliation is important. I know that a lot of people probably have like exfoliation gloves or have exfoliant items that they use in the shower, but being very intentional about your exfoliation when it comes to your lymphatic nodes is so important. And I'll give you guys a few tips. So when it comes to lymphatic drainage, there are, I want to say, like 6 points that you can use quickly in the shower. So the first one that I actually do, and I'll show you guys, the first one that I actually do that is that I do, like even just sitting at my desk, is taking my 2 fingers, and you can do it on both sides, right? So taking my 2 fingers, putting it around my ear, and then adding pressure and going down, picking up, adding pressure and going down, picking up and adding pressure and going down. And really what you're trying to do is to get like right in here. Doing that on both sides. Ooh, now my glass is gonna fall off. Doing that on both sides is very helpful when I'm working. Like, it's just, if you even do it now, it is so helpful to do on both sides at the same time. And it will, what this does is it calms, it activates, drains your lymphatic system, right? But when your lymphatic system is draining, it activates your nervous system. So just like we were talking about with breath work, and we were talking about all of the other areas, your vagus nerves with music and for singing and humming and all of those things, that actually activates your nervous system as well. So even if you're doing breath work while doing this, oh my gosh, it just brings everything down, right? The other points, I can turn my camera. Just a second, y'all. Let me turn my camera for y'all so y'all can see. Okay. All right. So can y'all see me? Look, y'all all should be able to see me. Yeah. Okay. So the other points are in the chest area. So like rubbing this area here you can also pat on these areas. That will help drain. The other area would be in between your elbows. And you can do this in the shower, y'all. I do this in the shower every morning. So that's proactive and reactive, right? So I do this in the shower here. The other area will be in the stomach area. So you can do this. You can do this without your exfoliant or with your exfoliant. I'm missing one. Oh, behind the knees. So the other exfoliant is behind the knees. Okay. I think I might have missed, the groin area is another area that you can use to do drainage. But like these areas will help. I personally do it in the shower every morning, and I have exfoliation gloves that I use, right? And it's literally maybe just an extra 5 minutes, right? In the shower. You already washing up. You already going to all the places anyway. So that's how I actually try to continue to have my lymphatic system drain, because that keeps your regulation of your nervous system. And the more that you're able to regulate your nervous system, the more comfortable your nervous system is, right, in that state. Because think about it, if you're consistently in a stressful state, your body is going to adapt to that. So your nervous system most likely is going to start getting comfortable in that stress state. Okay. So what this does, it doesn't just bring your state down, but it also gives your nervous system that familiarity of it being in that relaxed state. So it will be more prone to navigate there if you start practicing. I hope that makes sense. This is a way for you to train your body to not be continuously in a stressful state. And so, not to say that you won't experience stress, but if you do, it may regulate itself more quickly versus you having to do all of these additional measures to get there. Okay. So I hope that's helpful. That was long-winded, but I felt like it was helpful to show y'all because I can say it all day, but it's more helpful to be able to see. Okay, so what were we talking about? Touch, physical touch. Okay, so we talked about blood work. We talked about the lymphatic drainage, exercise and walks and all of that is, of course. We talked about soft fabrics and blankets, whatever makes you the most comfortable. Warm baths and foot soaks. I'm pretty sure we all probably do that. Massage. Massage is something that I learned to be very, 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 very helpful because we store stress in the body. Okay, so we talked about, I know I said physical touch is a lot of things because of the fact that we store stress in the body. So the more that you're able to find ways to relieve the physical stress that your body is feeling, the more that you're able to put yourself in a better state to take on the external factors that are already stressful. We already live a stressful, fast-paced, crazy life, right? So if we're able to continuously and proactively release the stress our body stores, it will make us, it will put us in a better state of being when we have to approach and find ourselves in these stressful situations. So but massage, they do have lymphatic massages where they actually practice on they work on your lymphatic drainage and system, or just like your regular Swedish massages. Also, hot saunas, wet saunas, jacuzzis, cold plunges, cryotherapy, like all of those things can be helpful. I personally have a spa that I go to that has those types of things. So I just go there maybe once a month or every couple, maybe every other month, just to kind of release some stress. But also just having ways to sometimes I create my own sauna in my bathroom. I just run the water and run it really super hot, and I let it get it all steamy and nice in there, and I just sit in there and read a book or something. It doesn't have to be expensive. I know that we all are in money crunches right now, so like being creative and improvising is helpful. But massages doesn't necessarily have to be you have to go to a massage therapist. Massages could just be what I showed you with the lymphatic drainage, but just activating your body in a way to where you're able to let go of the stress that your body is storing is what's most important. And then lastly, taste. I know we went through all of the yeah, did we go through all of them? Yeah, we went through all the five senses. So taste is the last one. So taste is really just mindful eating, right? Being intentional about what you're eating. Sometimes we create more stress because of how we eat. And I know that's easier said than done, but finding ways to include vegetables, fruits in our diet instead of the sugars, the artificial sugars and things. Artificial sugar creates more stress, y'all. And I know y'all don't want to hear it because that sugar be tasty, okay? It be delicious, all right? I get it, all right? But it definitely can create more stress in the body that you don't want to create. And I say that because I have removed artificial sugar from my diet since the top of January. And I did it for school because with me, I have my addictions counseling class, and we had to give up something for 10 weeks. And the 10 weeks was I decided to pick artificial sugar. But I'm even after class is over, I'm just going until my birthday. My birthday is April 6th. Put it on your calendars. But no, I'm trying to go until I get to my birthday. Of course, when I get to my birthday, I'm going to have somebody's cake, somebody's cupcake, somebody's cookie. Okay. But in the time that I've haven't been having artificial sugar, I have seen such a difference in so many different ways, physically, emotionally, spiritually. The way that I sleep is better. It's just different, right? So when you're getting quality rest, when you're getting nutrients within your body, when you're drinking and you're staying hydrated, when you're eating better, your body is better. And then in that, when it comes to releasing stress and how you release stress would be better. So I'm not saying you have to do like I did and just remove sugar all the time, but it's just a reminder to be mindful of what you're eating, being mindful of what you're taking in, if you want to go as far as doing like a food journal, just to kind of like journal what you're eating and how your moods are on the days that you're eating certain things. That's important too. Removing dairy for a time. Maybe that's something that you may want to do just to kind of see how your body reacts to that. Removing meat for a period of time is another thing. Like for me, when I am stressed, I stop eating meat. It's just something that I learned about my body, where when I'm stressed, okay, it means that I need to either do some intermittent fasting, do a spiritual fast, or I need to stop eating meat at least and give my body some rest and digesting like meat, because meat is going to be the hardest to digest, right? So I'll give my body a break and say, hey, we're not going to eat meat for 2 or 3 days. Give your body a break from digesting meat and flush your body out with greens and fruits and water and really hydrate. Get rid of the sugary drinks for a period of time. There's so many different ways that you can do it. And this is something that you can be very cognizant about, mindful of, and play with, and just to see like how your body reacts to the removal of certain things. For me, sugar is a big aspect of it, and meat for me is a big aspect of it. So I'll go maybe a few weeks where I'm just eating whatever, but then when I'm like, okay, my body feels off, I'm gonna cut down. Well, I already don't eat beef or pork, but I'm gonna cut down on like the seafood and the chicken for a while, and I'll do that maybe for a week. And then I'll start to feel better. And then I'll start reintroducing meat back. So however it works for you, whatever makes the most sense. But hydration, y'all gotta drink your water, y'all. Drink your water, all right? And I say that in my East Coast accent. Drink your water, all right? So make sure you drink your water. And when it comes to staying hydrated, that helps with stress, fatigue, if you have headaches, if you drink caffeine, caffeine, I'm learning and learning and learning. I learned in my addictions class, y'all, my addictions counseling class, caffeine is considered a stimulant. It's actually considered an addiction, y'all. So keep that in mind. Like, you may have stress in your body because of the amount of caffeine you're taking in if you're drinking a lot of energy drinks. Now, I know I love a Celsius. Rest in peace to my Celsius, because I've been scaling back on Celsius. But listen, caffeine can definitely be a stressor if you over drink it, however you drink it. So if you're drinking it in coffee, if you're drinking it in energy, especially energy drinks, because that can get your heart palpitations going. So listen, if you are drinking energy drinks or drinking a lot of coffee, maybe like even for my Celsius, I don't drink the whole thing in a sitting. Like, I'll drink half of it, I'll put it in the fridge, and I'll drink the other half tomorrow or the next day. So just like mitigating that and just being cognizant of how your body reacts to caffeine. Because if you stop drinking caffeine, you'll have withdrawal symptoms. Like, it can be an addiction. Like, you'll actually have withdrawal symptoms of headaches or mood swings and things like that. So just keeping that in mind and how it affects your body. Okay, y'all, we went through it all. It was a lot, but I hope this was helpful, y'all. I wanted to make sure that I gave you as many tips as I could think of. Especially when we think about stress relief, it's always one or two things, right? It's like, oh, pray and, do some meditation, maybe do some breath work and exercise. Like, that's typically the answer when it comes to stress relief. So I wanted to break it down and give you so many options. So y'all have so much to choose from. I hope this was helpful. Let me know in the comments how helpful it was. I hope it was. I'm going to leave you guys with these affirmations before we go. Yeah, we had some time today, y'all. We had some time. So affirmations. The first one, I have 8 here. The first one is, I release what I cannot control and embrace, and embrace joy and rest. I release what I cannot control and embrace joy and rest. I release what I cannot control and embrace joy and rest. So a lot of times we're stressed because we're trying to control stuff. Y'all, that ain't the first time y'all heard me say that. So if we're start to release the things that we cannot control, so that way we're not stressing out. That's really important. We don't need unnecessary stress. And unnecessary stress is things that we cannot control. Like, we can't stress about it, right? Can we strategize? Can we come up with ideas? Can we think about the things that we can control? Absolutely. But we have to release what we can't. Number two, I focus on what I can change and release what I cannot, right? And then number three, I am capable and my life is purposeful, right? I embrace each day with intention and grace. I am capable and my life is purposeful. I embrace each day with intention and grace. I am capable and my life is purposeful. I embrace each day with intention and grace. So, this is just a reminder that in the midst of your stressful situations, you have capability and you have purpose within that stress, right? Whether that be, for you to handle the situation or for you to walk away from the situation, there's a purpose behind it, right? So understanding you're capable and your life is purposeful, and you can embrace each day with intention and grace. Being intentional, we talked about that a lot tonight. Just being intentional about your stress relief and taking ownership of it is what's most important, okay? The next one, I nourish my body with kindness and healthy movement. I nourish my body with kindness and healthy movement. I nourish my body with kindness and healthy movement. So when it comes to stress relief, it's about nourishment, it's about replenishment, and that kindness is that self-compassion, right? But also healthy movement. We have to move when it comes to stress, y'all. A lot of times we are stressed because we don't move. We go to work. The most walking we do is from the house to the car, and then from the car to the job, and then back again, right? So the more that we are intentional about healthy movement and we are intentional about that every day, and I'm talking, not just talking to y'all, I'm talking to myself, because some days I just be here, right? I told y'all I work from home. So some days I just be here, right? But we have to be really intentional about movement, especially when we feel stressed, because again, stress stores in the body. It's in the body. It's not just in our minds, it's also in our body. And when we do that healthy movement, just think about when you dance, right? When you do a good dance and go to a party or whatever, and you get the cookout and you get a good dance in, you feel great afterwards because it's healthy movement, right? So keep that in mind. Next one, I listen to what my body needs and I respond with love and care. I listen to what my body needs and respond with love and care. I listen to what my body needs and I respond with love and care. So listen to your body, y'all. Again, like I said, stress stores in the body. So if your body's telling you it's stressed, you have to listen to it and respond. Like emphasis, bold letters, capitalize, respond. Because a lot of times we're overly stressed because we have noticed stress in our body but didn't respond, right? So you have to respond to it. You can't just notice it, right? And a lot of times we understand and see ourselves stressed. And we'll maybe even say it out loud, like, oh my gosh, I'm stressed, but we don't respond. Okay. So don't just listen and hear what your body tells you and what your body needs, but also respond intentionally, respond swiftly and quickly. There's no need to delay or procrastinate in response to our own stressors. So don't delay, don't not respond, respond swiftly to your stressors. And that's how you'll be able to be proactive. And that's how you'll be able to, of course, be reactive to the stress that you may be experiencing. Again, there's some things that we can't control when it comes to our stressors, but even just in releasing our stressors is what's most important. My emotions, the next one, my emotions are messages, not emergencies. I choose how and when to respond. My emotions are messages, not emergencies. I choose how and when to respond. My emotions are messages, not emergencies. I choose how and when to respond. So this is more so when it comes to emotional regulation, right? Sometimes we have stressors that are based off of our own emotions, and those emotions may come up, whether it be based off of a threat that we actually have in our lives or a perceived threat. So sometimes when we feel certain emotions, we feel like we have to respond right away to the emotions of it. And really, it's just a matter of us practicing self-control, practicing some form of regulation, and that's what releasing the stressors are. You can release the stress and not respond to the emotion, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. When it comes to our anger, right, or our depression, right, or sadness, yeah, we want to be aware of those emotions, but a lot of times we create more stress because we respond to them in a way that's not healthy, right? And because we're responding to them in a way that's not healthy, that creates more stress, right? So just keeping in mind that just because I have an emotion, it's just something that is sending me a message. It's sending me a message about me, my environment, or the people around me, right? Just because I feel it doesn't mean it's an emergency and that I need to react to that emotion right now. It just means that I need to regulate right now. And that's where that stress relief comes into play. Okay? So my emotions are messages, not emergencies. I choose how and when to respond. That's specifically for emotional regulation. Next one, I am not my mistakes or my worries. I am more than the current moment. I am not my mistakes or my worries. I am more than the current moment. I am not my mistakes or my worries. I am more than the current moment. Just because you stress now doesn't mean you're already always going to be stressed, y'all. It's just a moment. It's temporal. Okay. Now, granted, do we live in a time where we've been getting hit hard? Yeah, we in a time where we getting hit hard. We getting hit hard every day. But that's why we go back to our regulating. That's when we go back to our reactive and our proactiveness. And understanding that we can practice self-compassion and kindness, and understanding that we're not our mistakes and we're not our worries. That's not our identity. That's a piece of us, but it's not who we are. And reminding ourselves of that is what this affirmation is primarily for. And then last affirmation, not having the answers is okay. I can carefully strategize my recovery. Not having the answers is okay. I can carefully strategize my recovery. Not having the answers is okay. I can carefully strategize my recovery. So just understanding that just because you don't have all of the answers right now in this very second, there's nothing wrong with that. That's okay. It's okay to have uncertainty. It's okay to be uncomfortable. It's okay to be frustrated or stressed in any given moment. Even in that, you don't have to have all the answers today, right? There are some instances where you have to make decisions quickly, right? And I get that. But that's where we prioritize versus trying to fix everything at one time. And sometimes we create stress because we're trying to fix everything at one time instead of prioritizing what's most important in the moment. So taking the time to, when it says I can carefully strategize my recovery, means you're able to take your time. You're able to take your time and strategize what your next step is going to be in the moments that you're able to do that, right? Like I said, there's some things that you have to take care of right away, but those are the things that you strategize and prioritize first, and then put the other things to the side until you're able to get to it. It's okay to pace yourself. It's okay to move slow. It's okay to be careful about it and to be intentional about it. It's okay to not make a decision right away. So this is just a reminder of that. So I hope this was helpful, y'all. And it was long, y'all. It was long. And I thank y'all for sticking with me. But with us being gone last week, I wanted to make sure this week that I gave you guys some really, really impactful information. So back to the top of the affirmations to go back through. I release what I cannot control and embrace joy and rest. I am capable and my life is purposeful. I embrace each day with intention and grace. I nourish my body with kindness and healthy movement. I listen to what my body needs and I respond with love and care. My emotions are messages, not emergencies. I choose how and when to respond. I am not my mistakes or my worries. I am more than the current moment, and not having the answers is okay. I can carefully strategize my recovery. I just do the 7. The second one, I feel like the second one, I focus on what I can change and release what I cannot. It was a bit redundant, but that one's there too in case you want it. But yeah, I hope this is helpful, y'all. You just let me know in the comments if there's any other tips that y'all can think of that you've used in the past or that has been being helpful for you now. Just let me know in the comments. And I will see y'all all next week. Next week we talk about how do I know, what was the next one? How do I know if I'm growing or healing? So we'll talk about that next Monday. And when it comes to this week, if you want to get the newsletter, go to my website at haveninspired.com and sign up for the newsletter. And that way you'll get the copy of the affirmations and any other tips and just an update. I send out a newsletter every Wednesday, so make sure to sign up there. Otherwise, you guys have a great rest of your evening. Thank you again, and I'll see you next Monday. Bye.